Skritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 20, The Dynasty of Puru, text number 2. Janame Jayaha Hi Abhut Puroho Janame Jayo Hi Abhut Puroho Prachinvan Tat Sutaha Tataha Prachinvams Tat Sutas Tataha Praviraha Atha Manusyuhu Vai Pravirotha Manusyurvai Tasmat Cha Charupadaha Abhavat Tasmat Charupadho Bhavat Janame Jayo Hya Bhutpuro Prachinvams Tat Sutas Tataha Pravirotha Manusyurvai Tasmat Charupado Bhavat Janame Jayo Hya Bhutpuro Prachinvams Tat Sutas Tataha Pravirotha Manusyurvai Tasmat Charupado Bhavat. Janamejaya, King Janamejaya, he indeed Abhut appeared, Puroho from Puru, Prachinvan, Tat his, Janamejayas, Sutaha son, Tataha from him, Prachinvan, Praviraha Pravira, Atha thereafter, Manusyuhu Pravira son Manusyu, Vai indeed, Tasmat from him, Manusyu, Charupadaha King Charupada, Abhavat appeared. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Bhacharana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Janamejaya was born of this dynasty of Puru. Janamejaya's son was Prachinvan and his son was Pravira. Thereafter, Pravira's son was Manusyu, and from Manusyu came the son named Charupada. Please repeat the translation. King Janamejaya was born of this dynasty of Puru. Janmejaya's son was Prachinvan, and his son was Pravira. Thereafter, Pravira's son was Manusyu, and from Manusyu came the son named Charupada. There's no purports. I will read the following texts. Text 3. तस्य शुद्ध्युर अभूत पुत्रस्तस्मात् बहुगमस्ततः संयातिस्तस्याहं याति रौद्राश्वस्तत्सुतस्मृतः. The son of Charupada was Sudhyu, and the son of Sudhyu was Bahugava. Bahugava's son was Samyati. From Samyati came a son named Ahamyati, and from whom Raudrashva was born. Riteyustasya kaksheyu standileyu kriteyukaha jaleyu sannateyuscha dharmasatya vrateyavaha dashaite sarasa putra vaneyuschavama smritaha gritachyam indriyaniva mukyasya jagadatmanaha. Raudrashva had 10 sons named Riteyu, Kaksheyu, Standireyu, Kriteyuka, Jaleyu, Sannateyu, Dharmeyu, Satyeyu, Vrateyu and Vaneyu. Of these 10 sons, Vaneyu was the youngest. As the 10 senses, which are products of the universal life, act under the control of life, these 10 sons of Raudrashva acted under Raudrashva's full control. All of them were born of the Apsara named Gritachi. Text 6. Riteyoranti navo bhut trayas tasyatmaja nripa sumati dhruvo apratiratha kanvo pratirathatmajaha. Riteyu had a son named Rantinava, who had 3 sons named Sumati, Dhruva, Apratiratha. Apratiratha had only one son, whose name was Kanva. Tasya medatitistasmad praskannadhya dvijatayaha putro bhut sumate rebhir dushmantastatsuto mataha. The son of Kanva was Medatithi, whose sons, all Brahmanas, were headed by Praskanna. The son of Rantinava, named Sumati, had a son named Rebhi. Maharaja Dushmanta is well known as the son of Rebhi. Texts 8 and 9. Dushmanto mrigayam yata kanvashramapadam gataha tatrasinam swaprabhaya mandayantim ramam iva vilokya sadyo mumuhu devamayam ivastriyam babashetam viraroham bhatai katipayai vritaha. Once when King Dushmanta went to the forest to hunt and was very much fatigued, he approached the residence of Kanva Muni. There he saw a most beautiful woman who looked exactly like the goddess of fortune and who sat there illuminating the entire ashrama by her effulgence. The king was naturally attracted by her beauty, and therefore he approached her accompanied by some of his soldiers and spoke to her. Text 10. Taddarshana pramudita sannivritta parishrama papracha kama santapta prahasan Shlakshnyaya gira. Seeing the beautiful woman, the king was very much enlivened, and the fatigue of his hunting excursion was relieved. He was of course very much attracted because of lusty desires, and thus he inquired from her as follows, in a joking mood. Text 11. Katvam kamala patrakshi kasyasi hridayan game kim chikir tatra bhavatya nirjane vane. O beautiful, Lotus-eyed woman, who are you? Whose daughter are you? What purpose do you have in this solitary forest? Why are you staying here? Text 12. Vyaktam rajanyatanayam vedyaham tvam sumadhyame nahi cheta pauravanam adharme ramate kvachet. Krishna Balaram Govitai Prabhupada ki jai. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. O most beautiful one, it appears to my mind that you must be the daughter of a Kshatriya. Because I belong to the Puru dynasty, my mind never endeavors to enjoy anything irreligiously. Purport. Maharaja Dushmanta indirectly expressed his desire to marry Shakuntala, for she appeared to his mind to be the daughter of some Kshatriya king. That ends the Bhaktivedanta purport and translations to Canto 9, Chapter 20, texts 12 to 2 to 12 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this chapter is describing the dynasty of King Puru, who was one of the very well-known kings having ruled this earth thousands of years back. And it is in this dynasty that Lord Krishna also made his appearance. And all of these kings belong to the Soma dynasty or the Moon dynasty. It is interesting and important to note that in this world, all the kings, they have their origin either from the sun god or from the moon god. So Surya dynasty or Chandra dynasty, from the sun or from the moon, all the kings. So Lord Krishna chose to appear from the dynasty of Chandradeva, the king of the moon planet. And Lord Rama chose to appear from the sun god or Surya Vamsha. And it always remains like that in this world, thereby making the sun and the moon greatly fortunate. So we can see this series of verses simply listing out the sons. Descending from the Puru dynasty. Shukadeva Goswami is saying that even Parikshit Maharaj and his son Janamejaya, they all appeared in this dynasty only. In fact, if you take this Bhagavatam 9th canto, you can see toward the end of the 9th canto, Prabhupada has made one beautiful genealogical table. You can refer that. Even in the 6th canto, he has made such genealogical table. There it talks about how all the 84 lakh species have come from different rishis by the arrangement of the Lord. How this entire universe was populated. So in this canto, we can see the descendants of King Pururava and descendants of King Puru. I'll just highlight some of them just to appreciate and understand. So in the dynasty of Pururava, which is also dynasty coming from Puru, all of them in the same dynasty of Soma, Yadu, as Krishna is known as Yadava. Krishna is known as Yadava because he is descending in the dynasty of one great king by name Yadu. So that Yadu is coming in the dynasty of Pururava. So this Yadu was such a great devotee of Lord Krishna that Krishna want to be recognized as belonging to that dynasty. Therefore, he is named as Yadava. So that everyone is reminded of his connection with this king and devotee by name Yadu. See how Krishna makes his devotees become glorified. Arjuna's one more name is called Krishna because of his connection with Lord Krishna. So like that, the Lord and the devotee both are very, very closely connected. You cannot separate them. That is the understanding. Then we know this famous Kartaviri Arjuna. There are two Arjunas in the history. And of course, both of them are famous as Prabhupada describes. One of them is Pandava Arjuna, the son of Mother Kunti. I'm sorry, the son of Mother Kunti. The other one is Kartaviri Arjuna, who is also very famous, which will also be described in this ninth canto. So Kartaviri Arjuna was very, very powerful. He also appeared from this dynasty. Vrishni, as we all know, Lord Krishna appeared in this Vrishni, Vasudeva appeared in the Vrishni dynasty. That also comes from this Puru Vamsha. Then, of course, Krishna's own father Vasudeva, then Vasudeva's sister Kunti and Kunti's children, all the Pandavas, they all appeared from this dynasty of King Puru, appearing in Pururava dynasty, appearing in the Soma dynasty. Then we know Balaram and Subhadra, just like Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. So Balaram and Subhadra also appeared in this Puru dynasty. The famous Ugrasena, Shurasena, even they appeared in this dynasty. The great devotee of Krishna by name Akrura, he also appeared in this dynasty. Draupadi's father, Drupada Maharaj, and mother Draupadi also, along with her brother Drishtadyumna, Drishtaketu. We hear these names in the Bhagavad Gita first chapter being quoted. Drishtadyumna, Drishtaketu, they're the kings, they're the allies of Pandavas during the battle of Kurukshetra. So they all appeared in this Puru dynasty. Then we know the famous Kripacharya, Dronacharya Kripacharya. Kripacharya and his sister Kripi, and Kripi's son Ashwathama, or the son of Dronacharya, they all appeared in this dynasty. Then the famous Kauravas themselves appearing in the Kuru dynasty, King Kuru. That's why they are called Kauravas. Actually, Pandavas and Pandavas headed by Yudhishthira Maharaj and Duryodhana and his brothers, actually all of them belong to the Kaurava Vamsha, meaning coming in the dynasty of Kuru. But of course, Dhritarashtra by his for political reasons, he called only his sons as Kauravas and called the sons of Pandavas Pandavas, although both of them are called Kauravas. So this is called political diplomacy, political intelligence, diplomatic intelligence. He is intelligently, politically separating his sons and the sons of Kunti, the fatherless sons of the Pandavas. Because he wanted to give the kingdom to his sons. Therefore, he called them as Kauravas and not the sons of Pandavas Kauravas. Anyway, so they're called Kauravas because they come in the dynasty of King Kuru, who's also appearing in the same Puru dynasty, just to name a few. So we can just know how many great personalities the Supreme Lord himself has appeared in this dynasty, and thereby making this dynasty very glorious, sanctifying the entire Chandra Vamsha. Therefore, the semen which is flowing in these dynasties are extremely sanctified and powerful and glorious. It is not easy to bear the semen, eventually which will carry the Supreme Lord. You can just imagine the glory of such personalities, such great kings and personalities. So that is why Bhagavatam is taking the trouble of describing these details. Why will Bhagavatam otherwise endeavor to describe some seminal lineage of someone? What is great about giving birth? In every species, birth is taking place. The other day I saw one reference. There is one water horse. I don't know whether you heard about it. Samudra Ashwa it is called. Samudra Ashwa, water horse. Every time it breathes out, it's very interesting to see. Every time it breathes out, it will produce thousands of horses. Thousands. Every time it breathes out, it will produce thousands of horses. So even a horse is able to produce. And as Prabhupada always had been quoting, the pigeon, it can produce at least 1 to 2 dozens at a time. And in a day, it can produce 12 to 13 times progeny. So like that, there is so much progeny going on in this world. Cats are also producing children. Animals are producing children. Birds are also producing their eggs. So what is glorious about human beings also producing or increasing progeny? The glory will only will be if that progeny is a Krishna conscious progeny. If the boy or the girl, the child, be it a boy or a girl, if he can become fully Krishna conscious and surrender his life to the Supreme Lord, his or her life to the Supreme Lord, then that birth is glorious. That birth is glorious. Otherwise, there is nothing glorious about giving birth to children. So here we can see the list of kings giving birth to their children, their offspring, and Bhagavatam recording them systematically. Because so many glorious persons are going to take birth. Therefore, marriage is a very important samskara in our Vedic culture. Because in this world, at least in this world, birth is made possible by the union of husband and wife. And that union must be very sanctified. Then that union will be very glorious. Because to give birth itself is a great art. It's a great science. In fact, there is an entire Upanishad dedicated for this. There's an Upanishad called Garbhopanishad. Garbhopanishad. The entire Upanishad is dedicated. The science of conception, the science of pregnancy, how to give birth to the child. Whole Upanishad is there. Nothing new. The Vedic culture, everything is known. Nothing which is unknown to the Vedic followers. And there's a great possibility of choosing which child you would like to give birth to by sanctification, by meditation, by the grace of the Lord. But today that science is lost. It is not known. Somehow children take birth. That's all. That's how it is. Somehow children take birth. But earlier, it was not somehow children taking birth, it was a conscious thought and a conscious act. And it's a sanctified act. Therefore, it is well known if somebody is going to give birth, it's a well known thing. It is not a secret affair. It's not a secret affair. It's a sanctified act. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. In fact, if you go to the details, which we may not get into, but just to mention one or two lines, the spiritual master decides when the husband and wife must unite. On a particular muhurta, particular day, there's a particular mood, just like marriage is a particular muhurta, a particular auspicious moment. Even to give birth to a child, there's a selection of time, date, kala, everything is there. But this science is completely unknown. Somehow child takes birth. That is not the way. That is in the case of animals. Somehow child takes birth. Not in the case of a human being. Somehow child takes birth. No. Even the muhurta is decided when the husband and wife are going to unite to produce a glorious progeny, whom the whole world will remember. Just like we see here, talking about eventually from Janameja, it came down to Maharaja Dushmanta, another great devotee. And he had a Vaishnava son by name Bharadvaja. Bharata. So, the whole world knows Dushmanta, his son, his dynasty. So like this, we should produce children where the whole world will recognize. So that is glorious life. So therefore, Bhagavatam is discussing these subject matters. So how to give birth to children and how to train them in Krishna consciousness. Even though they are powerful kings who can control everyone in this world, yet they subordinate themselves to Vedic scriptures, to the rishis, to their guru. Yet they submit themselves. They are very powerful, yet they are self-controlled. They were directed. They were not independent. They were dependent on the direction of their spiritual master. See? Here Maharaj Dushmanta is saying one significant point, as we see in the purport here. Maharaja Dushmanta indirectly expressed his desire to marry Shakuntala. This name is not mentioned so far in the verse, but Prabhupada is deducing. Maharaja Dushmanta, coming in the lineage of Puru and Janamejaya, once he went for hunting to the forest and was very much fatigued, and he approached the ashram of Kanva Muni, another very, very well known Muni of the Vedic times. So in Kanva Muni's ashram, he saw a beautiful woman. Actually, it was referred to Shakuntala, because Shakuntala was left alone by her mother Menaka, and Shakuntala's father was Vishwamitra Muni. So when Vishwamitra Muni gave birth to Menaka, he left Menaka. So both the father and mother left Menaka, and Kanva Muni, left Shakuntala. Kanva Muni mercifully adopted this girl and brought her up in his ashram. So Shakuntala herself didn't knew her mother and father, but Kanva Muni had educated her about her origin. So she was brought up by Kanva Muni. So Dushmanta, he saw this beautiful woman in Kanva Muni's ashram, who was very, very effulgent and looked exactly like the goddess of fortune. This is another interesting description of Shakuntala. See how she is being described. She looked exactly like the goddess of fortune, number one. Number two, and she was illuminating the entire ashrama by her effulgence. Oh, this is a material description, nothing spiritual. Yet it is significant to note. See the progeny of Vishwamitra Muni. He produced a girl baby who was so beautiful that she exactly looked like a goddess of fortune. He was illuminating the entire ashrama by her effulgence. So this is the result or effect of religious union between husband and wife. Because there is an irreligious union also possible, even between husband and wife. So when Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Dharma viriddo bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava, Krishna said, sex life which is not contrary to Vedic principle is myself. It meant religious union. When you follow all the principles of Dharma in marrying and in giving birth to a child, that is religious union. That is why this Vivaha is also a samskara. There are 16 samskaras. Generally known 10 Dashavada samskara, but actually there are Shodasha samskara. 16 are there. So one of them is Vivaha. Samskara, the word samskara in Sanskrit means, technically, literally, samskara means samskritaha. That means reformation, purification, sanctification. Krishna Balaram Gaurataksha Prabhupada means all of these things. To sanctify, to purify, to reform. You see, Vivaha Yajna, it is called reformation. That means the conditioned soul by nature has lust deposited in him, accumulated in him for millions of lives. Lust means, what is lust by definition? To enjoy one's own senses. The desire to enjoy, the desire to lord over, the desire to satisfy one's own senses. The desire to enjoy oneself independent of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is not party to your enjoyment. That is called lust. But the same enjoyment, if the Lord is party to that, that is called prema. Same. Enjoyment is not denied. But when Krishna is not a participant in that enjoyment, he is not the prime benefactor. He is not with us, then it is lust. But when Krishna is the prime enjoyer, then it is prema. So when we want to enjoy or be happy in association of Krishna, that is dharma. But when we want to enjoy without Krishna, avoiding God, then that is sinful. That's all. So nobody is denied happiness, but make the Lord as our partner in our happiness, whatever it is. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur also sings. The Lord should be involved in every detail in our life. Then you remain sanctified. So therefore this marriage, it's called yajna. It is a samskara and it is also called yajna. It's another term. Vivaha, samskara, vivaha, yajna. Two terms. Yajna is also another relevant thing. You see, yajna in Vishnu Sahasranama, if you see, the 1000 names of Vishnu, one of the prominent names of Vishnu is called Yajna. In Vishnu Sahasranama, Vishnu's name is called Yajna. That means Yajna is meant for Vishnu. Yajno vai Vishnuhu. The Bhagavad Gita also, in the 3rd chapter, Krishna says, Yajna arthat. Yajna arthat. That means whatever we do, arthat means for the purpose, for the benefit of. So one should act by body, mind, words. One should act for the benefit of Vishnu. Yajna arthat. Artha means for the purpose of. So yajna arthat, for the purpose of Vishnu, one should act. So whatever one does, it should be for the purpose of Vishnu, for the purpose of satisfying Vishnu. In that way, everything can be done with the purpose of satisfying Vishnu. And that is yajna technically. Although, in a general sense, people think yajna means offering something in the fire sacrifice. What does it actually indicate? It indicates that actually you're offering to Vishnu, who is accepting your offering through the fire of sacrifice, and the fire referring to the mouth of Vishnu. So he is accepting your offerings. So when it's accepted, you become purified. So yagnaha. So you can do every act as a yagna. Your entire existence can be yagna. So there is eating, there is marriage, there is sleeping, there is work, there is earning money, there is maintaining family, taking care of children. Everything can be yagna. If you can adopt this formula given by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, yagna arthat, do everything for the purpose of Vishnu, the satisfaction of Vishnu, by the direction of Vishnu, following the instructions of Vishnu, then it becomes yagna. So your eating also can be yagna. Even though you are filling your stomach, even the act of filling your stomach can become yagna. We eat 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times a day. So that act also can become yagna. How? When you offer that food to Krishna and take prasadam. When you eat, the purpose of eating, the intention of eating is to simply maintain this body given by Krishna, for engaging this body in the service of Krishna. And to engage this body, it has to be in a healthy condition. If it has to be in a healthy condition, I have to eat. I have to maintain this body and its health. If I have to maintain this body, then I have to eat. And why am I eating? To maintain this body. Why am I maintaining this body? Because this body is meant for the service of Krishna. So for that purpose I am to maintain, for that purpose I have to eat. Similarly, sleeping also can become yagna. Because this body needs rest. It's a physical body. So sleep also can become yagna. But as much minimum needed, not more. So the Shastra is prescribed at most 6 hours. So you can cut down, that is also good. Little by little, but not abruptly or whimsically, but by gradual purification. The demands of the body will reduce naturally. The more the body becomes sanctified, the mind becomes sanctified in association with Krishna, interestingly, the demands, material demands of the body will come down. Not by artificial endeavor, by natural purification. So sleeping also can become yagna, because I have to sleep so that when I wake up, I am fresh, active to again engage in the service of the Lord. And my intelligence functions properly. Because if I don't sleep properly or enough, my intelligence, my brain doesn't work. I'll feel dull. I'll feel drowsy. But if I've taken sufficient rest, as our body demands, then I can be active in serving the Lord. In that way, I am sleeping only for the purpose, not to enjoy. So you can eat to enjoy, to gratify yourself. You can sleep to gratify yourself, your senses. You can also sleep as a yagna. Why? Just to give rest to the body so that it is again fit enough to serve Krishna once again energetically. If that is the intention, then sleep is also yagna. Similarly, work also. Why am I working? Not for gaining some designation, some position, some power, some money, some control over people, some recognition. No. But I am working so that my Lord is satisfied. So whichever work I am engaged in, if I am conscious, as Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, Sve sve karmani abhirataha samsiddhim labate naraha swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tat shrunu. Krishna says, "O Arjuna, please hear as I describe how each person, by engaging in his and her own work, can satisfy me and achieve perfection of work by my direction." So you can be doing any work. You can be a housewife. You can be a carpenter. You can be a king. But you should execute that particular duty as directed by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedic literatures, like Srimad Bhagavatam. Narada Muni describes in detail. Krishna gives the essence in Bhagavad Gita. Acharyas like Narada, Vyasa describe in length about those particular duties, how they should be executed for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Then that also becomes yajna. So everything can become yajna. Similarly, family life. The purpose of marriage is to serve the Lord. So it is samskara, it is yajna, only if it is offered to Vishnu. If both the husband and wife, by mutual agreement, what is that agreement? The mutual agreement is not sense gratification at the time of marriage. The mutual agreement between husband and wife is, together we will serve Krishna. This is the mutual agreement, a contract between both of them to agree to serve Krishna together. And the children or their offspring which they will produce thereof in the future also, they will offer them to the Lord. This is the agreement. If that agreement is broken, then just like any agreement is broken, there is a penalty. So the laws of nature will immediately work. So here we see. Now, that is why everything has to be sanctified in this world. Otherwise it will react, it will give reaction, it will produce reaction if not sanctified. Everything we touch, we deal with should be sanctified, purified by samskara or yajna. And then you use it, then you are safe. Just like we offer food to Krishna, just to sanctify it. So that when we consume that, it will not react materially. The mode's influence will not act on the consumer. So everything should be done in that way. This is the art of working. Yoga karmasu kaushalam, as Krishna describes in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. This is the art of yoga is rooting everything through Krishna. It becomes purified. Otherwise it remains contaminated. Similarly, husband, you accept, a girl accepts a boy accepts a girl. That also as a product, if you think, sanctified through Krishna. Pass it, run it through Krishna. So run it through Krishna, becomes purified. Run the girl through the yajna, run the boy through the yajna. That means through Vedic chants, through Vedic mantras, in presence of the Lord, becomes purified. Same thing when the child is born, immediately jata karma, samskara is done. Immediately, so that the son also is not the cause of problem for the family, but he becomes sanctified, free from contamination at the moment of birth itself. And if you don't perform jata karma, then that offspring remains contaminated. So you have to purify that offspring so that he brings glory to your family, not disgrace to the family. So those who don't perform jata karma, they are awaiting risk in their family. So to immediately purify by jata karma samskara and many other samskaras. So in this way, one can remain sanctified and become happy in this world. So here, Maharaja Dushmanta, although he desired Shakuntala, still he wanted to confirm that she is the daughter of a Kshatriya king, because he wants to marry a Kshatriya girl, he himself being a Kshatriya. And his conjecture was perfect. Actually, she is the daughter of Vishwamitra. And he expressed his desire to her. And then in a bona fide way, we'll see in the following verses, in a very bona fide method, he accepted her hand. Although he developed a desire to marry her, he didn't jump upon that desire. He followed the Vedic procedures. That's why it says here, because I belong to the Puru dynasty, meaning Kshatriya dynasty, my mind never endeavors to enjoy anything irreligiously. You see? He belongs to a proper Kshatriya family. So his mind never endeavors to enjoy anything irreligiously. See, so he wants to enjoy, but not irreligiously. It has to be sanctioned by the Shastra. Sanctioned by the Shastra. Otherwise, he doesn't want to accept her hand. They are so powerful that they are even willing to become detached. Although they are attached, they also can show detachment at any given moment. This is the power of their Vedic following. So strict Vedic following. They are strict Vedic followers. So we should not misunderstand these statements of Bhagavatam. Is he looking at a woman, he became attracted? No. That could be the nature of the mind. But he is able to control his mind by studying who this woman is, whether she is a Kshatriya woman or not. Otherwise, you would have rejected. Number one. Number two, he does not want to do anything irreligiously. See? So the control being exercised. So that's the central point of this verse, that enjoyment is not denied, but it should not be irreligious. Then there is no problem. So in the Krishna consciousness movement, this training is there, how to enjoy and be happy in this world in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, we also eat, we sing, we dance, we work, all sanctified through Krishna conscious process. So we sing Krishna's songs, we dance in front of the Lord, we take Krishna Prasadam, which is sanctified in the sacrifice being offered to Lord Vishnu. We work only for the purpose of Vishnu in that way. And then we live in the association of Vaishnavas, a group of people who are all purified. In that way, our association also remains purified. Sometimes we hear, I'll close with the last point. Sometimes we hear devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness, this common problem they always face. They say that when we come to temple, we become very inspired, we become Krishna conscious, we develop desire to become Krishna conscious. But when we go to work and we sit amidst many materialistic people, karmis, and they keep discussing all materialistic subject matter, materialistic goals. I want to become this, I want to become that. I'm getting a better package. Shortly next month, I'm quitting this job. I'm shortly purchasing one flat. I got a package in Amazon. I'm planning this, planning that. And then you, as one of the colleagues sitting in the office, keep hearing all these things. So it's very pulling. It's very pulling. Oh, karmis are doing so many things. They're getting so many things. They're desiring so many things. So you become influenced. So that is contaminated association. That's why the Krishna consciousness movement offers even this possibility of living with purified men, women, purified people. That is sadhu sangha, devotees, Vaishnavas. So you live with them. I mean to say, live not necessarily means physically living in the ashram. You come to the temple as many times as possible and get this association also. As you get association of the karmis, which is influential, no doubt, but the influence of Vaishnavas is even more powerful. Even more. That's how you become a devotee. Whosever influence is powerful, you will become that. That's a fact, right? But always the fact remains, Vaishnavas or devotees of the Lord are always powerful and dominating in this world. Apparently sometimes Asura's association is powerful, but actually Vaishnava's association is more powerful. Therefore, by their association, people will become devotees. So remain the association of Vaishnavas, devotees, then you will also become a devotee and become sanctified and become happy. So stop here. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. I have two announcements. We will be celebrating Narsimha Jayanti on 4th of May, Thursday. We'll have Narsimha Homa in the morning at 8 a.m. and the evening celebrations will begin at 6 p.m. Evening celebrations will be entirely in Sridham Hall, and this hall will be left for darshan alone. So 6 p.m. onwards there will be Palaki Utsav, Abhishekam Sankirtan as part of the celebrations. And there is a fasting till dusk on Narsimha Jayanti. You can also observe the fasting. It is very desirable. Then we will be conducting Srila Prabhupada Ashtaya on 7th of May 2023. This is also Samskara. Srila Prabhupada Ashtaya, above the Shodasha Samskara, this is the Maharaja Samskara. Taking Ashtaya of the Acharya will fulfill the purpose of all the Samskaras once and for all. Sitting the shelter of the spiritual master. So we are having Srila Prabhupada Ashtaya on 7th of May 2023. Interested devotees are requested to contact the temple devotees to get to more details of this Srila Prabhupada Ashtaya or shelter of the bona fide Acharya. Hare Krishna.